Hello cats and kittens, it's Carla. I am here today in my kitchen with a brand new recipe that has become a family favorite. I was making it so much at home that I decided to ask you, my friends and followers, would you like to see this delicious salmon recipe come to life in a YouTube video? And 98% of you said yes. So I hope that 98% of you are going to love this gochujang broiled salmon bowl that I'm making today. It is delicious, broiled, caramelized, crispy, crackly salmon that is still like delicious and succulent and medium rare in the middle. Let's find out if this fam favorite is about to become a fan favorite. For this dish, I like to do a fillet of salmon for each person. So these are around 6 to 8 ounces each. A good rule of thumb is just go talk to your fish person, ask them like, what's your favorite in the case? What do you like? Definitely something on the fattier side, I think is really great for this recipe because the natural oils of the salmon are gonna kind of come out while it's cooking. They're gonna mingle with the marinade. It's gonna help it get really nice and crispy. Speaking of the marinade, and why it's so good and delicious, I'm gonna make the marinade right here in the little vessel that the salmon's gonna marinate in. So 2 tablespoons of gochujang. If you have not had gochujang, it is a Korean fermented chili paste. It's got heat, but it also has a really nice amount of sweetness to it, a little bit of like funk and depth, and just a little added value. It's pretty complex on its own, but it's great as a marinade. The sugars in the chili paste are gonna help with the caramelization. This is mirin, and this is definitely got some sweetness. It's also in a liquid form, so it helps kind of spread everything out. It's balancing out the heat and the saltiness of the gochujang and the other ingredients. And then I've also got miso. You could use white, yellow, red, like really whatever miso. If you have miso in the house, just use the one that you have. And that's a tablespoon. So miso is like salty, it's savory, it's rich, it has depth. It's also gonna caramelize really nicely. Sesame oil. It's nice to have an oil in the marinade. It's also gonna help spread things around. It's adding nuttiness, it's adding fattiness, it's adding richness. I've got rice vinegar for balance. So we have like some sweet things, we have some hot things. Now there's a little bit of sourness. Soy sauce also gonna help with browning. Salty, deep, umami, all of those good things. And then oyster sauce, very rich, helps with browning. Kind of a secret ingredient. Like oyster sauce is pretty stealth. It's got big payoff, the oyster sauce. I'm gonna finely grate 1 clove of garlic. If you had to skip this, you could. I've definitely made the marinade without the grated garlic, but it definitely adds something. Okay, so those are all of the ingredients for the marinade. If you did have like a shorter amount of time to marinate everything, having a very concentrated marinade is like key. A lot of times why a marinade doesn't kind of pay off is because it's too diluted, and it needs to be like really pack a punch. Especially in this case, it's gonna sit for only 20 minutes before we throw it in the broiler. Obviously, I'm just turning the salmon to coat all sides in the marinade. So if you're gonna cook dinner right away, just set this aside to sit at room temperature. If you are doing this a couple or a few hours in advance, I would cover it and stick it in the fridge, but we're gonna go straight through, gliding like a salmon. The next thing I'm gonna do is turn on my perfect pot of rice. This is basic stovetop short grain rice. The recipe is in Chapter 11 of That Sounds So Good, Perfect Pot of Rice. That takes about 18 minutes, and in that downtime, I'm gonna make a couple quickles, which is a new word we just invented for quick pickles. The goal of the pickle here is something cool, acidic, and crunchy. So it's all about like getting some nice texture, interest, and also color. Color is great, we love color. I'm using carrots and red onion today. I have also done this with cucumbers. I have also purchased like pickled daikon, pickled ginger, You could make your pickle, you could buy your pickle. I just think it's important to have something crunchy and acidic happening on the bowl. So for the carrot, I like doing these thin little julienne strips. If you wanted to thinly slice, because that's easier, that is great too. But I'm gonna use this handy dandy tool that my friend Jess Damick, who wrote a great book called Salad Freak, turned me on to, this like Julianne Peeler. And I truly did not think that it was gonna work as well as it does, and have found it to be astounding and exciting. So you just peel it and it's got the little teeth, and the teeth make it the julienne. Some mandolins do the little julienne as well, but this is like even easier and you have great leverage. All right, my other vegetable today is a large red onion. Love it for color. Pickle's really great, easy to get, good balance with the other flavors. You can buy pickled onions, no doubt. Pickled shallots would be great. Could use a mandolin if you wanted to, but it's only half an onion, so. I used to listen to the news while I was making dinner, like on my NPR, you know, all things considered. But you don't want to get so mad right before dinner. That's what I've decided. I'm just too mad. So now I actually bring my laptop into the kitchen and I watch like pretty trashy TV, and it's been wonderful. We had a TV in the kitchen growing up, so that was like always, you could listen to or watch whatever you wanted. Ooh, will it fit? That's the game. All right, so each pickle, this one's gonna be fascinating to watch me try to toss with liquid. This one's gonna be great, but they get the same amount. 2 tablespoons of rice vinegar. And then unmeasured, intangible, but wildly appropriate amount of salt. This is not gonna happen. This is like a know thyself moment. I am stubborn enough to keep going, and stupid enough as well. This is better. Because I have to like toss stuff also. They're each getting the same amount of granulated sugar. And it's just, again, it's about balance. Especially with the onion, a little bit of sweetness is really nice. So I'm just gonna toss these guys to coat. So it's more like a pickled vegetable than it is a pickle, a quick pickle, AKA quickle. I love quickle. Quickles are done. The thing I really love about this recipe is that it goes into the broiler, and it takes 7 minutes if you like your salmon medium rare, which I do. You could go 9 or 10 if you want it to be like fully cooked through, but it's so fast and you don't have to heat up your kitchen by putting like the oven on or having any smoking happening or trying to cook the salmon in a pan. So yeah, I think I was late to the game, but like broiled salmon is a strong endorsement. Other thing that is great about broiling, line with the foil on the tray, and then the cleanup is like lickety split. I truly sound like an infomercial from 1987. All right, every last bit of this marinade is gonna end up going on top, where it's going to caramelize and char. And I'm doing this fillet side up to get the payoff on that delicious charred flavor on the flesh that we're actually gonna end up eating. Not only are we broiling, we are toaster oven broiling, which to me is just so economical and amazing. And if I lived in a tiny apartment or didn't have room for a stove, I would 100% just live and die by the toaster oven. A greatest tool, one of the greatest tools that a gal can have. I went with the 7-minute cook time, and they look exactly the way I dreamed that they would look. There's caramelization, there's charred bits, but you still have the delicious gochujang marinade on the side, which is kind of like uncooked over there. So different flavor payoff, different texture payoff, and now it's time to build a bowl. Over the past 2 years, our rice consumption has truly skyrocketed. I started by doing a cup of rice for the family of 4, and we are now up to like 2 doesn't quite give us leftovers the next day. So leftover rice being very important, will probably go up to 2.5 or 3 cups. And then this is usually how I serve it at home. I like put all the condiments out and bowls, and everybody just comes and kind of does their own little buffet, build your salmon bowl. This is what I was saying about the skin before. It kind of creates this like nice, easy release barrier between the fish and the foil. So at this point, you can choose whichever toppings you want. You can have 3 and you could have all of them. You could start with a few and eat half of your filet and some of your toppings, and then come back to the board and have the other ones. So it's a real choose your own adventure. Always kimchi. A pickle, by the way. We have some furikake, put everywhere. And then I'll throw some other toasted sesame seeds just for good measure. Crunchy fried shallot. This is this new, to me, chili crisp. These guys call it hot garlic. It's Mama T's. It is my new favorite. It is so, the toasty garlic flavor is so good. I really love it a lot. So how I like to eat it is I'll go in and just flake off some of the salmon. So it's like super moist, juicy with that yummy marinade. And I'll take some rice and shallot and chili crisp. I love it so much. Honestly, the salmon just on top of rice would be totally amazing, but you get all the other little topper whoppers. The double layer of the gochujang spiciness, the caramelized, crispy, burnt sugar flavor of the part that got charred, plus hot sauce on top, and that little like chili oil flavor is truly astounding. This dish is snappy and it is quick, and you should make it. It is my favorite salmon bowl I've ever developed, and also the only one I've ever developed. It will go down in history as the greatest broiled salmon bowl that I have ever developed.